Friends, welcome to Saturday Psalms with me, Pastor Mark. I am so glad that you've joined me. I love digging into the Psalms, prayerfully meditating on them, listening to them, having them close to my heart so that when I am in need and seeking God, I know the words and the music that I can sing to the Lord. Today we're going to look at Psalm 10. But before we begin, let's just take a deep breath. Letting go of everything that's been this week or everything that has yet to come and focus on the here and now so that we can truly share an experience of God and grow in love. Friends, today our psalm is Psalm 10. No subtext, no notes for any musicians. Let's just get into the psalm. Why do you stand so far away, Lord, hiding yourself in troubling times? Meanwhile, the wicked are proudly in hot pursuit of those who suffer. Let them get caught in the very schemes they've thought up. The wicked brag about their body's cravings. The greedy reject the Lord's cursing. At the peak of their wrath, the wicked don't see God. There's no God. That's what they're always thinking. Their ways are always twisted. Your rules are too lofty for them. They snort at their foes. They think to themselves, we'll never stumble, we'll never encounter any resistance. Their mouths are filled with curses, dishonesty, violence. Under their tongue lie troublemaking and wrongdoing. They wait in a place perfect for ambush. From their hiding places, they kill innocent people. Their eyes spot those who are helpless. They lie in ambush in secret places like a lion in its lair. They lie in ambush so they can seize those who suffer. They seize the poor, all right, dragging them off in their nets. The helpless victims are crushed. They collapse, falling prey to the strength of the wicked. The wicked think to themselves, God's forgotten. God has hidden his face. God never sees anything. Get up, Lord. Get your fist ready, God. Don't forget the ones who suffer. Why do the wicked reject God? Why do they think themselves that you won't find out? But you do see. You do see troublemaking and grief. You do something about it. The helpless leave it all up to you. You are the orphan's helper. Break the arms of those who are wicked and evil. Seek out their wickedness until there's no more to find. The Lord rules forever and ever. The nations will vanish from this land. Lord, you listen to the desire of those who suffer. You steady their hearts. You listen closely with them to establish justice for the orphan and the oppressed so that the people of the land will never again be terrified. God bless the reading of the psalm. The psalmist puts us in kind of a third person perspective of the wicked. We often come across in the Psalms an enemy, a villain, and we do this in our own lives, in our own songs. Like, listen to any pop song, pop artist. Like, there's a villain in the story, and in our story we find villains. Unfortunately, right now in our nation, we tend to find villains of one another. I don't think that's particularly helpful, but it's easier to be a villain or to have a villain in the story because then we can put ourselves in the place of the hero. That's not always appropriate. It's not always right. But I like how the psalmist in Psalm 10 tries to get into the head of those who are doing evil, those who are doing wicked, those who are greedy, those who rule over others, those who seem to have no regard for God. And the psalmist is trying to, in this beautiful kind of poetic song nature, the psalmist is trying to say, how, what, why, how? And the psalmist comes to this conclusion that they must just not believe that there's a God. Because if they believed that there was a good God who was aware of everything, they wouldn't do bad things. Now, you and I know that that's not necessarily true, because plenty of people who do believe in God still do bad things. It's the Santa Claus paradox, right? Like, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows you're awake. As a kid, sometimes you still did bad things, even if you believed in Santa Claus. I believe in Santa Claus because Santa Claus is real. It's a different time for a different conversation. We can have that some other time. The wicked believe there is no God. Now, I have friends who will say things like, the world would be better without the church. Look at all the terrible things the church has done. And yes, historically, the church, especially a government sanctioned church, the Holy Roman Empire, for example, or the Church of England and that type of structure, a state sanctioned church, has been responsible for war, has been responsible for great evil, has been responsible for crusades, has been, just even smaller things. The church has turned its head and turned its eyes, local churches, when evil has been done, when leaders have been accused of great wrongdoing. There's cover-ups and scandals, and those things are real. We cannot deny those things that have happened. There are documented realities within the church and historically of the church that are not good. Here's the reality, though. There are entire countries and entire nations that have been founded on there is no God. And they are not utopias. In fact, quite a few of them are harsh dictatorships where, yeah, if there's no God, then I can do whatever I want. And I'm not saying a belief in God will necessarily make you be a better person. It takes more than just an overarching belief in God. It takes a heart that's been transformed to say, God is good and loves me. And my response to that should be goodness and love. But the psalmist also reminds us that even in the midst of wicked ways and evil people, God is always with the suffering. God is always with the brokenhearted. God is always with those who are being persecuted. And this is why so many of us, and historically, there is a sense of final judgment. Now, again, what that looks like, that's not really up to us. And I have different understandings biblically and from our tradition what that looks like. But there is a sense that, the things we do matter, and there are consequences here and hereafter. And likewise, there's hope for the suffering. And likewise, there's a future that's free from pain, free from tears, free from the ways of evil people. Maybe this psalm can be a reflection for us, and maybe even a way to become more compassionate, not only to those who are suffering, those who are struggling, those who are being hurt and abused, caught up in nets, but even for those who believe there is no God, continue to do whatever they will. And maybe for ourselves too. Thank you, friends, for joining me. I hope to see you next Monday through Friday with daily devotions, next Saturday with Psalm 11, and of course every Sunday as we worship God. Until then, goodbye.